and I am chair of the Student Affairs and Undergraduate Education Development Council. Our council's mission is to bring awareness and raise philanthropic support for the priorities of undergraduate education and student affairs. I would like to welcome each of you to the Undergraduate Education Virtual Donor Celebration. I got involved with this board because I love working with people, and I found all the things that student affairs and undergraduate education were involved in, things about undergraduate education that I had no idea fell under that unit. So it's been a real learning opportunity for me, and I love being here. Thank you for joining us tonight, and more importantly, thank you for choosing to support the Office of Undergraduate Education. This session is being recorded and will be shared with those who couldn't be here live. There is also closed captioning available for tonight's event, and you can turn it on or off by clicking on Closed Caption in the control bar. We have an exciting night ahead of us. So I would like to introduce our first speaker, Yvonne Gadelius, who was named Vice President and Dean for Undergraduate Education in March of this year.
Thank you so much, Iris. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. To everyone who's on the call tonight, thank you. The Office of Undergraduate Education would not be where it is today without your support. And I look forward to sharing how the generosity of all of you, our donors, has impacted our students across the university. But before we begin, since you don't all know me, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and then a little bit about the scope of undergraduate education at Penn State. For some of you who I've worked with closely over the years, or in some cases, those who I work with on a daily basis, and I will say there's a few of you in the Zoom room tonight who have already had several meetings with today, and I especially appreciate your willingness to then spend your evening with us as well. But so for some of you, this will be familiar, but I do want to share this information so that others who I haven't yet had a chance to get to know can learn a little bit about me and then a little bit more about undergraduate education. I came to Penn State a little over 30 years ago to begin my graduate work in art education, and I moved here from Toronto, Canada, which is where I grew up. I thought I'd be here for a few years, get my graduate degree, and then I fully expected to return to Canada. But as is the case for a lot of people, Penn State got into my blood, and I've ended up spending my career here. I joined the faculty in 1993 in art education and women's studies, and then worked my way through the professorial ranks. I began my administrative work in 2003 in the College of Arts and Architecture as the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education and Outreach. In that role, I began to work with colleagues across the university on issues related to the pathways that lead our undergraduate students to the university and successfully through to graduation. In 2007, Rob Pangborn, who I know is no stranger to the people in this room and is here with us this evening, hired me as an Assistant Vice President and Associate Dean in the Office of Undergraduate Education. In that role, I was fortunate to work on a range of initiatives. I also benefited from Rob's mentoring for more than a decade, and thank you, Rob. But that's enough about me. Let's now talk about undergraduate education and the exciting information I have to share with all of you this evening. Undergraduate education is comprised of 17 diverse units, but we're united in our mission to collaboratively create a Penn State academic environment that supports the success of all undergraduate students across all of our Penn State campuses, including the World Campus. Our mission communicates what we're striving for, and the three overarching goals within our strategic plan outline how we can best advance this mission over the next 5 years. Our first goal is to improve the success of minoritized and marginalized students, understanding that this will have a positive effect on all students. Goal number 2 really grows out of a recognition that we can't do this work alone. So it really calls on us to foster institution-wide connection and collaboration. And our final goal, goal 3, is to prioritize and model student-centeredness, equity, diversity, inclusion, and transparency in our work. These are ambitious goals, and we knew that when we wrote them. But I think we all jointly and collaboratively together found that ambition exciting. And we know too, though, that our UE team and our partners across the university are talented, determined, and committing to making each of these goals a reality. By achieving the vision laid out in our strategic plan, we can fulfill Penn State's historic commitment as a land-grant institution to serving students from every background, while also preparing students to thrive within a diverse, global 21st century society. Whether you are a student, parent, faculty or staff member, donor, or friend to Penn State, thank you for taking the time to learn more about undergraduate education. I hope you're inspired by the important work we have ahead of us. I'd like now to shift a little bit and share some of the incredible donor stories and recent gifts which have furthered the mission of our office and continue to improve the broad undergraduate experience at Penn State. Our first priority, the vision of undergraduate studies. Got muted somehow. Our first thank you goes to Penn State alumna Ria Schwartz and her husband Paul Martin Wolf, who created the Ria S. Schwartz Educational Equity Achievement Scholarship in undergraduate education. Ria and Paul leveraged the recently concluded Educational Equity Matching Program to endow a new $300,000 scholarship in the Division of Undergraduate Studies, the largest endowed scholarship in DUS. We can't thank you enough. Each year, the proceeds from this scholarship will provide support to 3 students, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior, who spent time in DUS, whose gender, race, ethnic, cultural, or national background contribute to the diversity of the Penn State community and who are high academic achievers. With nearly 25% of incoming first-year students at the University Park campus beginning their studies in DUS, the division is one of the largest academic units at the University Park campus. And I will say my daughter, when she was a first-year student at Penn State in 2014, started in DUS and had a great experience, and it really helped her find her path and helped her find her major and her way through the university. One of the striking things about DUS, though, is although it serves a significant portion, I mean, in terms of incoming students, it's one of our largest colleges, and it serves a significant portion of Penn State graduates, but the unit has not historically benefited from the same levels of alumni support as Penn State's other colleges and campuses. So thank you, Ria and Paul, for supporting the Division of Undergraduate Studies and making a difference in the lives of DUS students now and in the future. The second gift that I'd like to mention came from a group you might be familiar with, the SAUE Development Council, so Student Affairs Undergraduate Education Development Council, who developed the SAUE Board Fund for Student Engagement. Their endowment funds additional student engagement grants, which are typically $1,000 or $2,000 per student, and are awarded through a competitive application process 3 times per year. These grants give students great opportunities to get involved outside of the classroom through activities such as undergraduate research, volunteerism, service learning, and internships, to name a few. The idea behind Student Engagement Network is to create a Penn State where no student is constrained by budget in having a potentially life-changing experience within or beyond the classroom, regardless of their campus location. However, 75% of our student grant applications are denied due to lack of funding. So I would like to thank the SAUE Development Council for addressing this issue and helping more Penn State students get engaged and have this experience. The third priority that I'd like to speak about is our Student Success Center. And I would like to thank Mike and Diane Katzeman for their tremendous support towards the Student Success Center. Denise Poole, director of the Student Success Center, informed me that 4 undergraduate students received complete Penn State scholarships this year, thanks to the Katzeman's generosity. Through the Complete Penn State program, the signature initiative of the center, we connect students with financial and other key resources to assist them as they strive towards the graduation finish line. We know what a difference it makes in students' lives and in their trajectory for the future to be able to cross that graduation line. We extend a helping hand to students who are within 1 or 2 semesters of the completion of their first associate's or bachelor's degree and who've experienced hardships such as job loss, death or illness in the family, or other financial difficulties. Thank you, Mike and Diane. I wish you the best on your current travels, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you later this semester. I also have a wonderful announcement to share with you all this evening, which is the Rob Pangborn Honorary Fund for the Student Success Center has reached the endowment minimum of $25,000. And I know Rob and Ann are with us on the call, and I'm so excited to share that news with you tonight. So thank you to all who supported this wonderful endowment, including Rob's daughter, Becca, whose generous donation pushed us past the $25,000 milestone. The endowment honors Rob's 41 years at Penn State and directly supports the Student Success Center. We're now going to switch and we're going to hear from some of our students. So we have a couple of student videos to share with you where our students will express in their own words what this support has meant to them. And thank you again for joining us this evening. And I look forward to meeting you very soon.
Hi everyone, my name is Quinn Dietrich and I'm a third-year mechanical engineering major at the Schreier Honors College. I was fortunate enough to be a recipient of the Student Engagement Network grant, so I wanted to take the time to thank you donors for your generosity and all that you've done for me. It is because of you that it was possible for me to dedicate my entire summer towards undergraduate research. My research lab is a human-centered robotics lab in which I was able to begin to develop a low-cost haptic feedback device that could be used to assist people with disabilities to accomplish a multitude of simpler tasks. This last summer proved indispensable for me. As I plan to attend graduate school and continue research, being able to get a jump start on it this last summer helped me really develop skills that will only help me shine in the future. I will never forget this last summer, and I will never forget the Student Engagement Network. Thank you all for believing in students like me and for choosing to give me the opportunity to pursue my education. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Volatile. I'm a second-year student at Penn State University World Campus, and I'm a political science major. I received a Smart Track scholarship, a Student Engagement Network engagement grant, and a World Campus Student Success Scholarship. I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your generosity and for believing in students like myself. The Smart Track scholarship set me up for my initial success back into the world of academia after a long time by providing me with a step-by-step blueprint on how to succeed. I had access to mentors, faculty members, peer groups. It was an incredible experience. I am very grateful for that. With the SEN grant, I was able to begin the illustration and eventual printing of my children's book, which I hope to put in schools. It's about being a part of the community and being a positively contributing member through charitable endeavors. And lastly, the World Campus Student Success Scholarship that I received this past summer enabled me to sign up for 2 classes instead of 1, so I'm forging ahead. I really can't thank you enough for giving of yourselves. I am coming back to education after a long period of time, and I wondered, was it worth it? My time, my energy, and my family's resources. And when I got the acceptance letter from Penn State University World Campus, man, I was over the moon. And then when I got the scholarships and the grants, it just let me know that Penn State University is as invested as I am in my own success. I'm so grateful. What you do is amazing. Thank you so much. I know that many students who come after me will be as grateful as I am. Thank you so much for everything. I didn't cry once, although
Thank you so much, Jennifer and Quinn. It's wonderful to hear about your successes and how undergraduate education has helped provide you with these opportunities. And now I would like to introduce Rich Bundy, Vice President for Development Alumni Relations. Rich?
Thanks, Iris. I appreciate the introduction, and I'll apologize in advance that I'm still a little bit hoarse from Saturday's football game. So if I sound froggy, that's why. But I'm delighted to be here tonight to also extend my thanks to our many donors who have supported undergraduate education through the 5 years and a couple of months of our 6-year comprehensive campaign, A Greater Penn State for 21st Century Excellence. We're in the final stretch of the campaign, and I'm exceptionally pleased to be able to share that undergraduate education has already surpassed its goal for the campaign. One of 15 units out of 54 who have already crossed the 100% mark in this campaign. And in fact, undergraduate education has raised $34.7 million against their $24 million goal. $34.3 million of the $34.7 is for scholarship support. And that's a real testament to all of you and to many, many other donors who are not on this Zoom tonight who have supported undergraduate education in a really meaningful way. And of course, your support feeds into the overall goal of the campaign. At 86% of our chronology, we are at 86% of goal, a nice synergy there. We've raised $1,813 million against a $2.1 billion goal. And we have 10 months to raise the remaining $287 million. And I'm absolutely convinced that we will. This year has gotten off to a very strong start. August was the second best month of fundraising for a month of August in the history of the university. And we're having a really nice September too. I'm eager to update those numbers. One thing that I'll say though, is that what we're seeing is really terrific engagement and enthusiasm from our donor community. Many of you know that last week, Penn State and all of the other Big Ten schools participated in well, we didn't call it a competition, but it was a competition that we called One Big Week. It was a focused effort on the part of all 14 Big Ten schools to raise support for undergraduate students. In our case, we directed donors towards our Student Care and Advocacy Emergency Fund. And at the end of the week, Penn State prevailed. We beat all of the other Big Ten schools, and we beat them so badly that we're pretty sure they're not going to want to compete with us again next year on something like this. In total, the Big Ten schools raised $601,000 from 5,836 donors. But of those totals, 2,975 were gifts to Penn State for more than $214,625. And what is particularly meaningful to me is that 744 Penn Staters took last week's opportunity to make their first ever gift to Penn State. That feeds our donor community going forward and is a real harbinger of continued success to come, both in this campaign and beyond. So allow me to echo the thanks that you've already heard from Yvonne, from the students tonight, and from Iris. Penn State could not be more grateful to our friends and alumni donors who support us in such meaningful ways as we continue our mission and vision to educate the next generation of leaders at Penn State. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I sincerely hope you enjoyed tonight's discussion, and a special thank you to Yvonne, student speakers, and especially to all of you at home for joining us this evening. This ends tonight's event, and I hope you had a wonderful time listening. Thank you. Go State.
We are.
We are.